Okay, I'm back. I just did a video talking to some guy named Hermit something or another, a MGTOW Hermit. And I'm looking at the videos on his channel, and one titled Response to Steve Hoka, Why MGTOW Despise TFL. You mean the two weak groups are now hating on each other? Wow. He has another video, self-defense. Man punches woman through glass. A MGTOW awakens. That's that's interesting. Okay, I'm watching the video right now. Like he's in a welfare line or something like that. It's a white guy, big white guy, tall. Okay, I guess it's not a welfare line. It's British. Yep. It's in the UK. There's some kind of door. There's a security guard there. He didn't punch her through the glass. He reached in and hit at a woman. Oh, he knocked her through the glass. Big son of a bitch, about 6'4". The woman swung at him, and he swung back and hit her. And I'm not in favor of women think they get away with punching at dudes, but that's not an example of a MGTOW awakens. That's an example of some jackass that the hit from the woman wouldn't even bother him. Didn't even bother him. It's the fact that she was doing it. So he swung back at her. It's not a MGTOW situation, but they want to glom onto it and claim it. When that jackass that did that, he probably wouldn't even know anything about MGTOW out there. So, in looking over the guy's videos, it's sad. He's watching a cat throwing up. I don't get the attraction to that. Make your own magical mushroom lights. Okay. Men not marrying. How deep does the problem go? By Karen somebody or another. When MGTOW becomes cool. Now I was going to do some webinars with one of the MGTOW guys. There's a black guy there. It's a MGTOWer. And he seemed decent to talk to. Not way out there crazy like some of these other guys get. So I was going to do some videos with him, and I do apologize. I never made it come to fruition. Never got back to him. He seemed like a decent fellow. The only reason why I was going to do them with him because he had lots of women. It's not that he couldn't get women. So he's been in the position where he had tons of women. He decided, for whatever reason, I guess a bad relationship or something like that, to take a break. Something that women do all the time. And I can see the need to sometimes give yourself a break for a few months from females, but not for a long time, because then it becomes a psychological problem. You start developing issues. You start developing phobias about the shit, and it's going to fuck up your confidence. Now, there's some people who are struggling to get women. Those people, I say, don't take a break. But this fella, because he had already mastered getting pussy and had women paying him, he's getting money out of females. I can see him taking a break for a few months. But again, not for a long period of time. Okay? I just told one of the fellows on my forum who said, maybe I should take a break. And the thought would never cross my mind to ever take a break. It would never cross my mind to give up. To give up the fight. Look behind me. You see the plaque with all the ribbons. You see the plaques on the wall. First place this, first place that. That's because I didn't give up. I fought to improve myself. So it kind of insults me that there are whole groups of men that gave up. It frightens me too. It creeps me out. It worries me that men are so weak these days that they want to give up and go their own way. Now I can see if you're dating chicks and you don't want to be in a steady relationship. I understand that. And you don't want to get married. I understand that too. Okay? I don't have a problem with that. But so many of these males that join these groups can't get pussy. It's not like they've got pussy all over the place and they're telling the pussy, I don't want to date you. I just want to have some fun with you. Because that's what I did. But to be giving up and going your own way and not having women, that I got a problem with. Because it's a man that hasn't solved his issues yet. He hasn't overcame himself. Your biggest fight in your life, fellas, is going to be with your inner self. If you read science fiction, you recall the books where the hero goes into a dark cave and fights a shadow being and it ends up being himself. That's you. You're always at fight with your shadow side, your inner self, that inner ego, that inner demon or gremlin that's fighting for control. When we develop our ego, we also develop this thing that comes along with it to protect us, that's constantly looking out for us. That's why you're so afraid to walk over to a chick and say hello. Because somewhere in your past, a girl did something bad to you. I don't know, she looked at you and then looked away. And you got your little feelings hurt. Or maybe you went up to her and said, I like you. Do you like me? She said, no. And you just can't get over it. Maybe you were popular in elementary school, but then you got to high school and you introverted because a girl didn't like you. I don't know, whatever silly reason you have for developing this issue with females. Whatever it is, you need to learn to grow up and get the fuck over it. Sorry, I'm not going to hold your hands and ruffle your hair and say, it'll be okay, Brandon. It'll be okay, Biff. No. Man up, get the fuck out there. That's the school I'm from. That's why I turn off a lot of people. But to do anything else would be to make bitches out of you. To coddle you. Make you weak. So, unfortunately, we got to grow a pair. Start becoming men. Instead of giving up, fight harder. Fight to change yourself. Fight that inner part of yourself that's blocking you. It's interesting because I work with so many males and I see some of them get really close. J10. They get really close and they sabotage themselves, J10. I'm not saying anybody's name, J10. They'll sabotage themselves. They'll do something to make sure it doesn't happen. And I see this over and over again with some of the males that I work with. I don't know what's blocking you, what your fuck up is, but eventually you gotta get tired of being fucked by yourself and unfuck yourself so you can go out there and start fucking others. Eventually you gotta get tired of that shit because it sucks being alone. I mean, I would hate to live in a room all by myself. Well, I like living alone. Yes, I like living alone. Better than I like living with somebody. I had fun back then. But I would hate to not have, company come over and engage in some really good sex. Some really hot, steamy sex. and then have her make me a ham fucking sandwich and click them goddamn heels out of my house. And that's how I lived. That's one thing my buddy Craig liked when we were rooming together. The click of the heels across the floor, she'd come in, suck my dick, and then get the fuck out. Something about that, he said, just turned him on. I don't know, whatever. I would hate not to have a female. 100%. It must suck. No wonder why these males turn to these groups, these TFLs and these MGTOWs. For me, again, look at the trophies behind me. I don't care what I got to do. You know, if I was obesely huge, 500-pound, sloppy, fat guy to take care of that problem, I'd be leaner, more buffed out, 200-pound guy to get rid of that problem. And I'm thinking of a TFL guy, this light-skinned, mixed biracial brother, talk about this really overweight fat chick that took his virginity and how she broke up with him, and now he's TFL because nobody wants to date him. And I'm thinking, brother, if you lost all that tonnage you got, man, shit. Now, there's only one person I know that was 450 pounds and was still fucking. That's Grease 2000 because he got his mouthpiece and his confidence down. But to the guy that was, 500, whatever he was, he didn't have it. And if I was him, I'd be working on losing that weight and building that mouthpiece up, that ability to talk to women, having that confidence, so that he could have females around him. So he wouldn't have to beg some huge, humongous chick just to give him some love. And I realize a lot of you guys are lonely as fuck. And that's gotta suck ass, man. It's got to suck ass. Suck diarrhea ass, actually. To be lonely. Actually, part of me would love it. I would like to be out there. I'd like to be trained to survive and go out and live in the woods for a while. But that's just me. Be alone for a while. That would be okay for me because I've had my share of pussy out there. I've done my fucking. I produced my children. I gave back to humanity, and I went out and had fun and fucked lots and lots and lots of women. I did nasty things to them. I had fun with them. We had fun doing it though. Sure, I might have stuck it in places it shouldn't have been. They enjoyed it. I made sure they got nuts too. One of my girlfriends, she got five nuts. 5 nuts, my dick up her asshole. Okay? So I made sure they got their share of enjoyment, but I had fun. And to not have a female to have some fun with, as I think about my older brother who just left, as I said in my last show, he now has a form of cancer, and he's got his wife. Okay, my older brother is a nerd. He sat here, really quiet. He's just the way he is. Doesn't talk. But he has a woman that cares about him. And I can't imagine not having a female to give you some pleasure. They went out to, we live in Sacramento, they went up to the town of Rockland. I guess there's one of those theaters that allows you to, they have food and they have the big cushion seats. This is what I talked about last year when I was on vacation up in Sparks in the Reno area. And he doesn't go to movies, he's the type of smart person that doesn't read fiction books and he doesn't go to movies. Like my friend Neil, he would surf the net in text mode only. He just only recently started using visual. He's getting old and soft. He's in his 60s now. The original nerds. You new nerds, you guys ain't even good nerds, man. You're just gamer geeks. So he's got a woman that's looking out for him and taking care of him. It's got to be lonely as fuck to you brothers out there without a woman to care about you. I know some of you guys have your mommies, because you live with mommy in her basement or whatever, and mommy takes care of you and feeds you. But you fellas who are alone, well, even them fellas with mommy, there are things mommy can't do for you. And that's got to suck. I think it's time to grow up and start manning up and start solving the issues. Don't you? Peace, fellas.